And here we go. So, hello, welcome to another Age of Empires game. Let's get it started. Turn off the fog of war. Get our things correct here. So, this is a game. I played this directly after the last game that went up, where I was Koreans on, on Golden Swamp. Hopefully this recording works. I tried to record it twice before, and one time my mic came unplugged, and the second time the game just crashed without warning, so I'm not sure why. So I'm in the red here. It's Pastor Joe. My opponent is in the blue. Jungleism Monkey, playing as the Britons. So I'm playing as the Indians. And basically after that Koreans game on Golden Swamp, I kind of tried something a little bit different. So I decided I'm just going to go kind of back to, I'm just going to go back to what I'm more comfortable with, just because I tried something a little different and such. And so obviously the strategy civilization that I'm most comfortable with is Indians, fast castle into camels in their case. So really the overall strategy is fast castle into knights, but with Indians it's obviously going to be camels. This is the first time I'm playing on the map Mediterranean, at least, well, not the first time ever, but the first time in ranked play. And I probably should have spent more time. I probably should have played at least a few games against the AI, because I felt like this is a map, because this is a map that's been in the game for a long time. I think I played it when I was younger, and so I've just always kind of been like, oh, that's a map I know. But like, I didn't realize that there were all these extra sheep. Although I will say that he got a lot more extra sheep than I did, I think. Yeah, so I didn't realize there were all these extra sheep, but I think the main thing that bothers me a little bit is I feel like, there are a lot of fish, but they're pretty spread out. So if you want to have a good fish boom and keep it up, you kind of need to build a lot of docks, and I didn't realize that at the time. And there's a degree to which it almost makes it so that the water actually isn't that important in this map. I'm just doing this because, like, look, it's a fast castle build. We've seen this on my channel if you've watched my other videos. It's very standard, and I do it fairly cleanly. My opponent did a couple of goofy things, but he's doing mostly the similar thing. He's doing some goofy ways, so he didn't mill the deer specifically, so he's walking a long ways. He built some extra houses, that kind of thing, but, whatever. But so the fish are so spread out that it takes a lot of effort to get a real fish boom going. So you'll have to build, so like my dock is going to be around here, but within very close proximity to where it's really efficient. You've got and these three, and then the shore fish, which I'm going to actually take as Indians. But then you kind of need to just keep building docks all the way around, because the fish are so spread out. And also, even though you're on the coast, there's enough space. It's pretty easy to make your base with enough space between the water that your base can be pretty much safe from enemy navies. Even thinking about cannon galleon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's like 15, 16 tiles from the edge. I don't remember exactly what the range on a cannon galleon is, but like, I'm not even sure that a cannon galleon here could reach his town center. I would say with some confidence it couldn't from this side. It might be able to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're gonna screw it. We're gonna check this. I'm curious. What is the range on a cannon galleon? 13. And even a cannon galleon can't reach the heart of your got housed, you bum. Even a cannon galleon can't reach the heart of your base. So unless you really build up out on the coast, water doesn't matter that much. Once again, I didn't realize that there were all these extra sheep, so I think he took those ones from up here, and I'm just not gonna get those ones, because I don't think at least I'm gonna find those ones, because I didn't know. And so I thought to myself, okay, so winning water is going to be important, because in my mind I think, oh, maybe I'm gonna, nope, I'm not gonna, because in my mind I think, okay, this is a water map, winning water is important, and it just kind of isn't. It's actually more important to take advantage of the fact that you've got short sides on either side and just wall that up. And my opponent is going to do that, and I'm not. It's going to cause an issue. So I'm going to I'm setting up to wall like here and then over here. Yeah, right there. That's going to be the start of one there. Now, for what it's worth, and from a fairly practical perspective, if I come a little further over here and realize that cliff went all the way to the edge, could just boop, and that would have been very, very easy to wall that side. But, so I should have just walked someone over here and walled there. Clearly he knew what he was doing from the start. He came right up here, wall, no big deal. I'm curious what his line of sight is looking like here. Pretty good. You can see that I'm just getting over to his base. Pretty similar lines of sight overall. So I'm over here, I'm trying to dodge his town center, and also, well, we're not right now, but, so there you go. So you can see I walled all the way up over here. Should have just walked over to the side, because that's the way that this map generates consistently. I thought that it was more consistently, well, there's C in the middle, but it's not always necessarily as long as this. But each time that I've seen the map generated in DE, at least, it's been like this. I don't know if this is how it always was and I just didn't realize it, or if this is a DE thing. But either way, not ideal. So yeah, so we're trying to mostly figure out where some of his resources are. I'm not sure why we're running in circles around that, but looking for where his resources are, so that hypothetically when I come in with the camels I can figure that out. But of course he's already walled up, so yeah, none of this is ideal. But for what it's worth, we do get pretty well walled up over on this side. I still don't have my dock. There it is. And we're on our way to feudal age. He's a little bit ahead of me, but that's not the end of the world. I have one more villager than he does, which I think pretty much accounts for the time difference. So once again, he's got a little bit unorthodox the way he's going. So he's collecting a sheep over here by the mill instead of under his town center. Built a bunch of houses in a line, the classic. But yeah, he's got one lumber camp. Not necessarily the most meta stuff ever, but that's fine. He's keeping up. Once again, the most important thing is keep your town center producing. He's doing that just fine. So, so I do have a dock up, but and this is kind of my. Was there a hole there? I don't know how he got in. But so, he's not going to even build a dock, and he's not going to this whole game. It's going to hardly even bother him that he doesn't build a dock. And, obviously it helps. You get, so these are each like 200 some food, which is obviously, that's a lot of food. But it's still kind of like, you should not invest heavily into water on this map, I guess. That seems to be the play. Maybe I just suck. I'm perfectly willing to entertain that possibility. Yeah, so once again you can see he's just walled up both sides at a short point. He's walling up all the way out here with stone walls. And I mean, I've said this before, but it is frustrating to play against people like this where their first thought is just, I'm just gonna stonewall this, because so he walled up there, he's gonna also stonewall either in front or behind that, I forget which one. But we are making some fish. I'm also going to take these shorefish, which actually makes me think that because there is pretty consistent shorefish here, this is actually a pretty good map for Indians, because Indians shorefish gathering is a really, really good food gathering source, and you can pretty consistently, there's a lot of spots where you can build a mill and get 2 different shorefishes, which is obviously 400 food between the 2 of them. So that's 100 wood for 400 food, which is pretty good value. And it comes really, really fast. So I just found all these sheep here. I don't really know what to do with them. So I actually just send them into the corner, which ends up being the correct decision because once again, he's walled over here. I do enjoy that he walls up there. Why he walls up there, we don't know. it's blocked off by trees anyways. Whatever, I guess. I guess he just wants to make sure. So yeah, so I build these fire galleys, and he literally just doesn't. He just doesn't build a dock, so those fire galleys are going to be useless. So So yeah, that definitely hurts me on this map. At least for this one. I'm gonna have another game on this map in a little bit, where a similar thing is going to happen. Although I feel a little less bad about that because in that game I was playing against a guy who clearly was much better than me in his ranking, which we'll talk about when we get to that game. So yeah, whole lot of nothing going on, mostly still. You can see still very standard fast castle build overall. He's beat me to castle age, but you know, I guess it's not that standard of fast castle because I don't end up being that fast because I took the time to build all these fishing ships and some fire galleys and such. But also I should have garrisoned and I could have killed a scout there. Got some idle time here that's not good. I've got 6 idols right now. Jeez, how do I have 6? Oh man, all these are idled. Oof, that's not good, Joe. But I put so much wood into it. So yeah, so I made 4 fire galleys because I was like, right, we're gonna make sure we win water, and he has no water, so it doesn't even matter. Feeling like Lincoln Park. So we've got them over. These people have been idle forever. Ooh man, this is sloppy, Joe. I do finally click Castle Age. I actually could have gone to Castle Age much sooner. So I've now clicked Castle Age, and look, I've still got almost 1,000 food and 500 gold. So not ideal. And here we go. Here's the issue. So he's coming forward. So first he's gonna build an outpost. And obviously I don't see any of this. And this is actually going to end up being pretty wickedly unlucky. So, yeah, the reason I was so slow up to Castle Age is I totally forgot to get my buildings. So I did build a blacksmith, but I totally forgot my second building. So now we've got 2 stables, and then we clicked up right after that. And, this is frustrating. It's a little bit like the previous game, because I played it back to back, and it's going to be kind of the same thing. So he's right here. Look, he's not being that fast. This guy is not this is not some brilliant elite move. Right? He still hasn't built anything else. I don't know if he has the resources to or not. Yeah, he's got the resources to. And I'm just gonna not see it. And so, oh my gosh, this is so, because I did check this before, so you can see now he's stonewalling behind as well. Oh, I think, in case you didn't see it, so I had my fire galleys come up here and destroy his gate. I'm still looking around trying to figure out where's his docks, where are his fish? They're nowhere, there aren't any. So now I'm in Castle Age, and obviously we start to produce camels almost immediately. There we go, there they are. Once again, these guys are right here. So all that needs to happen for me to take control of this game is my camels need to come out, see these 2 villagers, kill them, and that's literally all his aggression. I have control of water, and even though, as I said before, I think that controlling water does not give you as big of an advantage on this map as it should, ideally, but I do have control of water, so I've got a fish boom going. We've got similar villager counts and such. And so he's going to just straight up drop a castle. Meanwhile, my camels are still coming out here. But there's still time. And of course, I still don't see this. And then the most painful thing is, so we've got 5 camels. I like to make 6, 7, or 8. So there's 7. So we've got 1 more camel coming out, and then we'll be ready to go. You can see he's still got a ways to go on his building that castle. He's only building it with 2 villagers. And I've even also got a villager here. And here we go. We're going off on the warpath. And yep. And so that castle is going to go up. All that I also just didn't see on the mini map that he was sending another builder forward. So that's another thing I think from both of these games that's going to be important for me in the future, is I need to be better at keeping an eye on the mini-map, because, you know, sometimes you miss stuff. So I now have seen that he's got the stone wall, not sure what to do about that, and I'm dealing with some other economy stuff. I was housed there briefly, but so this castle still not up, still could have come back to stop it, and there we go, it is now gonna be up, and yeah. And once again, still at this point, could have turned back around, could have pretty easily taken out these villagers under the castle fire, and then gone back on the offensive. And he probably doesn't have murder holes yet, I would guess. Does he have a university? He does have a university. He's getting it right now, first thing he's getting, so I guess that doesn't matter. But we go through, and so here's really the issue here. So I end up choosing, doing the worst thing is indecisiveness, right? Not going all in. So right now I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna bust through this, but then now I decide, okay, we need to turn around and go back here. But at this point, it's too late. He's producing stuff. He's got a barrack, so he's going to be able to produce spearmen / pikemen. He is producing pikemen. You know, now it's too late. And so now we're not going to get through there. So now we're going to come up here. We're just going to lose our camels. And I don't even kill the villagers. Oh, I do kill the villagers. I killed both of them at least. So that's okay. So, but yeah, so we come up here now because there's castle fire, there's pikemen. They're going to kill all but 2 of my camels, and so now my offensive is gone. But if you look, if I just committed to this, let him do his thing up there, committed to this, I bust through here. I mean, he has no military back here. He can produce some pikemen, but like, and the other thing is, he is fairly spread out. So I come up here, I attack these houses, Indian camels get a bonus first buildings. I can probably bust in here pretty easily, and even though he's bringing some pressure up here, and it will be challenging for me to keep an eye on it, it'll also be challenging for him to keep an eye on this while also staying aggressive up here. Right? So I picked the worst of both worlds. So either the moment, even though obviously it's partially my fault for not just like build an outpost here or something. I should have also just walled up here. But you know, so I should have been more aware. But even considering the unfortunate fact that if my camels had gone even a little bit further out, I would have seen those villagers. The moment that castle went up, I should have gone, oh, time to turn around, and I should have gone straight back. Or I should have just committed and gone in. So now we come back with 2 camels with like no health. And obviously that's not going to do anything. So I try to build some rams, and then I realize, oh wait, I have nothing to kill his pikemen. My economy is a little messed up, but I've got a ton of food, so that's the reason why we're producing some light cavalry. Just because I've got so much food. And I thought that he would have more longbows, so I produced those. So I produced the light cavalry and some skirmishers. But this is still not a disaster situation yet, but we're getting there. Initially, at least, not the worst setup. I should have just made some normal archers, because those would have cleaned up these pikemen pretty easily. So I should have mixed the light cavalry with some just normal archers. So, well, upgrade them to crossbows, and then, yeah, that would have been much, much better. But instead I use skirmishers that are not almost, they're totally unupgraded, so they're gonna get shredded by the castle. He's leaving, because effectively, so he's leaving his longbows under the castle fire anyways, right? So the only real way to get to them is going to be cav, effectively, because I'm not going to put a bunch of upgrades in my range unit. So there, okay, so cav comes in, kills the longbows. So I should have just committed to making archers here, and that also would not have used any food, which means more food to make cavalry. So I move up here to drop my own castle, but as you can see, he's beating me to Imperial Age, so he's going to be able to make trebuchets. I'm not sure how he's going to... I need to get my buildings faster, because I have more than enough resources to go Imperial Age, and this is also, I fall prey to one of my own issues, right, that I've talked about before, is you need to keep producing. Look at my queue. I'm producing some skirmishers out of a single town center. I've got like 3,000 food. I'm producing a few camels now, but like, I've got plenty of resources. You know, there's no reason for me not to be producing more stuff. You know, I'm not producing any villagers. I didn't build a second town center. So just overall, I didn't produce enough, even though I've got plenty of resources to produce things. I mean, so like, I've got enough food. Build a couple more stables, make a bunch of light cavalry. He doesn't have that many pikemen yet. I mean, it's a bit wasteful, yes, but I've got upgrades on the cavalry. I do that, even if it is just these skirmishers. Just send them in. The cavalry at the very least acts as a meat shield. The skirmishers, you know, so the cavalry can come in. They can you can target the longbows, and then at the very least, they're holding the pikes in place for the skirmishers to fight again, to shoot at them. But you can see up he isn't yet, but obviously he's in Imperial Age now, so he's going to start producing trebuchets. Somehow my gold got all messed up. I'm not totally sure how that happened, but I guess it is what it is. Also, another thing, the dangers of auto scout. I didn't even realize that he had my scout walled in over here, which also obviously not ideal. But there comes a trebuchet, and I'm starting to produce one out of my town center, but he's just got so much more military here set up, so he's going to win a treb war. I also did not react fast enough to come over and start repairing, so I send the camels over to try and kill his trebuchets, but first I don't commit to that one, so I kind of do this one, and there's just too much stuff. I'm not coordinated, so the camels are almost all dead by the time the skirmishers show up, and then the skirmishers are going to be almost all dead by the time the rams get in. So it's just overall just a big mess. And I think we're going to actually just speed it up from here, because that's kind of just what's going to happen. So obviously lose all the rams, lose the castle, do get one trebuchet out, but it's not enough. He's just got so much more military than me, and once again, I've got plenty to produce. So there's really no excuse. I try to build a town center over here to maybe relocate, because I'm aware of the fact that he's not doing anything that brilliant. It's just I start to become aware of just how sloppy I've been. So I'm like, build a town center over here, survive, and I can pull this out. But the momentum is just getting to be pretty large, and also my gold income is going to be hit pretty soon. That also is going to obviously kill a whole bunch of my villagers. And honestly, even now, hypothetically, I could definitely fight back. But, yeah, so now they're coming up here. They're going to start to kill my villagers up on the gold. And I think... Nope. Yeah, so I called the GG. I did not actually see this gold here. If I had, I probably would not have called the GG there. Because the main thing I was like, well, I've got that, but he's about to push me off this gold. And realistically, without gold, I was not going to be able to push back. So yeah, so made these fire galleys. They did literally nothing the whole game. Yeah, so another game that's kind of frustrating. I don't feel super bad because I did not realize that this is what, that this is what the way that people play on this map, I guess. I didn't realize just how unimportant water is. I assumed that by winning water I would be in a good position, but I wasn't. So yeah, that's that. That's another loss. We're on a tough streak here. Yeah, so I will see you next time. Stay beautiful.